Hey there, welcome to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you how to build out an AI voice agent using a powerful tool called VAPI, which is completely free to get started. Link in the description below if you want to create your free account. And then once you log in to VAPI, you'll enter your dashboard where you can see the number of calls you've made, average duration, total costs, all that stuff. But for the purposes of this video tutorial, I want to focus on building the assistant within VAPI and then also setting up the automation over here in make.com. So if that sounds interesting to you, please continue watching, subscribe to the channel, and let's get into it. So first of all, in order to create an assistant, we're going to click on the Create an Assistant button right here. And as you can see, we've got a couple different options here. I'm just going to select a blank template to start, and I can give it a name. So I'm just going to call it Bill. So the assistant's name is Bill. We're going to click on Create an Assistant here, and it will drop it into VAPI Assistants. So from here, we've got a lot of things that we need to configure, including the model. So right here, we're going to select the LLM that we want to use. In most cases, I would probably recommend just using the standard OpenAI ChatGPT LLM, but there's also Claude Anthropic in here as well, which is really, really good at writing. So, but in most cases, I'm just going to choose OpenAI, and then we can select the model here as well. So I'm going to use the GPT-4 mini cluster. And here you can set the who's going to be speaking first. So in this case, I actually want it to wait for the person to pick up before it starts speaking. So I'm just going to say assistant waits for user, and then I'm going to remove the first message right here. Now, for the system prompt, this is the most important part of building out the assistant. And in this case, I actually already have one that I've typed up using ChatGPT. So I simply issued it a prompt, and it gave me the entire system prompt right here, which I then copied and pasted into VAPI over here. So I have that already in a notepad. This is a notepad right here. I'm just going to copy and paste that in, right? So there's a lot to unpack here. Let me make this a little bigger. It's an appointment scheduling agent prompt for my AI automation agency. And the identity and purpose is just you are Mike, an appointment scheduling voice assistant for Automogic AI automation agency. And then we can go into some of the conversation right here. So there's the greeting introduction. And then based on the person's response, it will move on to the next step. So if you want this entire thing, I will provide it in the link in the description below. On Gumroad, you can get this entire assistant prompt, but obviously it's going to vary depending on your use case. So in most cases, I would recommend just creating this using ChatGPT to come up with the prompt, and it usually does a pretty good job, right? So that's the system prompt. And then for temperature, I'm just going to set it to 0.7. It's just a little bit more personable that way. And for the voice configuration, I'm going to use VAPI. So they have quite a few different voices that you can use, as you can see here. And it's just a matter of choosing the one that you like best. So in this case, I want it to be a male voice. I'm just going to choose Elliot. So let's try that again, Elliot. So there we go. And now if we want to publish this, I'm just going to click up here to publish it. And so, yeah, this is the process of building out the AI voice agent, and then we can put that into make.com and connect it up and get the numbers from a spreadsheet. And also I'll show you how to connect it up in Twilio as well. But first, we need to actually create the assistant. There's other ways to go about doing this as well, where you use an HTTP request to communicate with the API on VAPI, but in this case, just to keep it simple, I'm going to set it up this way, and then we can use the built-in module in make.com over here. So for background sound, I'm actually going to turn that off. It's up to you whether you want to leave that on or not. And then for the transcriber, this is what's going to be in charge of creating the transcript of the conversation, which could be useful, if you want to put that into a file for later referencing. You can basically just create the transcript and see if the person is actually interested in booking a call or not. So in this case, I'm just going to use the default here, DeepGram, and there's a couple different models you can choose from, or you could use either 11 Labs or OpenAI. OpenAI seems to have a pretty good transcriber built into it. So I'm just going to use OpenAI for the purposes of this example. And for tools here, you can actually connect up different tools such as scheduling a call on a calendar. But in this case, I'm not going to worry about that too much. It is nice to have, but it's something that you can set up later. Predefined functions. This will allow the assistant to end the call from its side. I don't think we really need to worry about that too much. And then for the summary, this prompt is used to summarize the call. You can also evaluate if the call was successful or not using this field. You can add in structured data such as, first name, phone number, email address. Again, I'm not going to worry about that too much. Privacy, you can turn on any of these. I would recommend turning on an audio recording of the conversation, and then you can set the output audio file as well. So we're just going to switch that over to MP3. And then for the start speaking plan, I think we could just leave that as is for now. As you can see, there's a lot of different things that you can configure inside VAPI creating the assistant. You can also turn on voicemail detection. So it uses advanced AI for detection of a voicemail. I'm actually going to turn that on, and I'm just going to use the recommended VAPI setting right here. And that will actually detect if there's a voicemail, and it can decide whether to leave a voicemail or not using the voice. And by the way, I want to make sure that the voice model is set up correctly right here. I'm actually going to switch this over to 11 Labs because I already have a paid account of 11 Labs. And then from here, I can add in the voice ID. So I'm going to come over to my 11 Labs here, and I can just copy and paste the voice ID. So I already have a professional voice clone inside 11 Labs. I'm going to copy and paste that voice ID, and then I'm simply going to enter that in over here. And as you can see, it pulls in the voice, my professional voice clone right here, which is great. And you can also choose the model as well. So in this case, I'm just going to leave it as the default. You can choose whatever provider you want, but since I already have an account on 11 Labs and I've already trained a professional voice clone for my WhatsApp agent, I've just decided to pull that in here. This is where we're going to enter in our webhook for make.com in a later step. This should be the correct webhook, so I'm just going to add that in there. And then it can actually wait and detect when we've finished the call, and we can use that for inputting data into a spreadsheet, for example, just summarizing whether the call was successful. We can put the transcript in there, whatever you want. And then down here for server messages, we actually don't need all of these because it's just unnecessary. So I'm going to uncheck all of these except for the end of call report. That's really the only one that we need. Maybe if you're calling a tool as well, you could include that in here as well. You can also add idle messages as well. So messages that the assistant will speak when the user hasn't responded. So you can add these as well. But in this case, I'm just going to leave those off for now. And then this is a widget that you can basically embed onto your website. We don't really need that for now. So I'm just going to click on Publish. And if I want to test this assistant out anytime, I can just click on Talk to Assistant and it will dial it up. So basically just automating the call process. You can have a conversation with your assistant from here. Hello. And then it will just start the conversation directly from within VAPI. But for the purposes of this tutorial, I actually want to show you how to build this out using make.com automation. So we're going to come over here, and this is what the automation looks like. It's really pretty simple. All that we're doing is searching a row for phone numbers. So I've just got a spreadsheet here called VAPI test. It is adding it to an array. So in this case, I actually don't really need an array, but if you have a long list of phone numbers in here, you're going to need to get them into an array, and then you can step through them individually. This is really useful if you want to call multiple phone numbers in this particular case. And then all we're doing here is we're adding in the VAPI module, making sure to connect it up using our API key. If you want to find your API key inside VAPI, you just come over here and then you click on VAPI API keys, and then you're just going to copy and paste your private key right here, and then you can connect it up directly from within make.com. Just put in the API key right here, and that's all there is to it. And then for the assistant ID, you're going to want to make sure to select your assistant that you've already created, or you can put in the ID right here. So that's all we're doing here. And then for the phone number, I'll show you how to set this up in a few seconds here. This is my Twilio phone number, which is going to be really important for actually providing an interface for calling the people. You need to set up either Twilio or something similar in order to create your own phone number, which you're going to be using for the dialing. So that's all there is to that. And then for here, I'm just hard coding in the phone number in this particular case. But if I wanted to pass in the phone number for the spreadsheet, I could just do that right here. So I'm actually just going to replace that. So in order to get started with Twilio, it's a little bit complicated to use, but basically what you're going to want to do is create your free account on Twilio. And you will need to put, I believe, $10 into your account so that it has funds to draw from for creating the voice calls. And it also provides webhooks here as well for voice and messaging. So in this particular case, I have a phone number which is registered in California, and it's set up through Twilio, and that's what I'm going to be using for the dialing. So if we come back over to VAPI here, you're going to want to go to phone numbers, and then you can just click on create phone number at the top, and you're going to import your Twilio account right here. And in order to do that, you will actually have to buy a phone number, but Twilio does provide a certain number of credits for free, if I remember correctly. So you can just use those credits in order to buy the phone number. And you can choose whatever phone number in the list that you want. And then all we have to do from there is enter in the Twilio phone number over here and set up your auth token and the account SID. You will have access to this phone number, and then you can also assign assistants to it as well. So if I want to assign this assistant, then I can do that. And you can also call phone numbers through here as well. Now we're going to test out this automation, and I'm just going to click on run, and I should get a call right here on my phone in just a couple seconds. So there we go. Everything worked correctly. And you will see that I am now getting a phone call right here from my Twilio phone number, and I'm going to click on answer.
Hi there, this is Mike calling from Automogic, an AI automation agency. Is now a good time to talk?
Sure.
Fantastic. Thanks for taking the time. We help businesses like yours save time and money by automating repetitive tasks using AI. I just have a couple of quick questions to see if our solutions might be a fit for you. Interested in hearing more details?
Sure.
Great. First off, can you tell me what kind of...
So you get the idea. I get the call. It steps through the entire script from start to finish. And then one of the stretch goals for this is basically that we will allow them to schedule a call, and then it will be added to my calendar. And you can also send an email as well. So that'll be a matter of basically setting up these different tools and connecting it up to the assistant, such as the smart scheduler. So if I want to basically connect up a calendar integration to the assistant, I will have to pass in my webhook, which I'll show you what that looks like real quick. I already have a basic one set up over here, and it's just called VAPI result. So I'm going to show you how to create a webhook. All you have to do is add the module, and then just click on add right here. And then you're just going to create the webhook. You don't even have to worry about an API key. And then from here, I can just copy and paste this specific webhook, and then we're going to come over here and input it in for the tool. So that's going to be waiting on that webhook. And you can also do the same thing for your assistant as well. So if I come back over here, I believe it's under messaging. We're just going to click on messaging here, and that's where we input the webhook right there. So that's just going to be waiting and listening and seeing when the phone call is finished. And then once the phone call is finished, we can basically get the data that VAPI got during the call and do something with it, right? So in this case, I'm actually going to run that automation again. First, I'm going to turn this on. So we're just going to set immediately as data arrives right here. And it looks like we can actually process old data from the previous call. So let's see if that works. We're going to use existing data. And yeah, as you can see, there's the message. Here's the analysis. Mike from Automogic initiated a cold call introducing his company's service. So I'm just going to click run again, and I should get another call once again on my phone here. There we go, getting a call from my Twilio number. I'm going to answer that. Hello?
It looks like your message. Hi there, this is Mike calling from Automogic. Is now a good time to talk?
Yes.
Great. We help businesses like yours save time and money by automating repetitive.
Okay, so I'm just going to end that call. And as you can see here, it did get the phone call. So the webhook is working. And now from here, we can basically just, let's say update a record inside the Google Sheet. So we're going to select Sheet here, and then we're going to update. So if I search for update here, we can update a row. And basically from here, what we can do is pull up the spreadsheet. So I believe it's called VAPI test. It should show up here. Oh no, I actually changed the title. AI managers list right here. So now we can pull in that spreadsheet, we can select the sheet, and then row number here would just be, basically we just use 1 for now, and we can update that with the data that's coming from the phone call. So for example, if we've already called this person, we could just put in yes. So we're going to update that. Success, we could also put yes. And this is just coming from my spreadsheet over here, right? That's pretty much all there is to it, just as an example. That's basically how to set up an AI voice agent in VAPI. Again, links are in the description below if you want to create your free account. Hopefully this was valuable for you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, stay safe. Signing off.